Today I'm going over the unboxing of my 338 MPR Lapua Christensen rifle, and I'm really excited to be able to share this gun with everybody because it took me a while to save up and purchase this gun. And on the gun I have a 338 Harvester big bore suppressor, and the scope that I'll be running on it is a Viper PST Vortex 25 by 50, and I'll be going over a couple things with this rifle that I wanted to share that I learned from unboxing it and getting it ready for its first hunt. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to my YouTube page. I've been working diligently at it, and whoever says not having a YouTube page is easy is lying to you. It's almost a second-time job. So today I would like to, I'm going to unbox my 338 MPR Lapua Christensen rifle, and one thing is it's not a cheap gun. So like I said, I've spent, I don't know how long it was I actually was saving up for it, but it's the approximate price, it will vary too, is $2,500. So one of the things, well, let me back up for a second. So I'll just kind of go over briefly what I have put together, and then I'll go over some of the features that I was learning about as I opened it and started handling my gun. One of the things I like to do too is when I open my gun up and I start handling it, just holding it and using it and getting the features down to when I'm in the field and start packing it around, so I'm used to it even when I haven't really packed it around yet. So basically what I have set up on it is a Vortex 12 by 50 Viper scope on it, and this scope is one of the better scopes that I like, and I'll probably go over some of the features with it, but not a whole lot. But I do like this scope. It runs around $1,000, and I have a 338 big bore Harvester with a muzzle brake suppressor on it, and it runs right around $1,000. One of the cool things too about the 338 Harvester big bore is that it will have the adapters to the threads on it. So what the Christensen 338 goes is 5/8 and 24th, the threading on it. But one of the things is that I was having a hard time on with my 6.5 PRC was that they were both 5/8 and 24ths, but the adapters were different, if that makes sense. Like one was bigger than the other, so it was kind of frustrating because I specifically got this big bore so that I could switch the suppressors from one gun to another gun, to my 300 short mag and to my 6.5 and to this one's. But then as I went along, I kind of want to get another one so I'm not constantly switching them, because the threads are really sensitive and I don't want to go off the threads and mess them up. So this is what I've done, so I can keep moving this suppressor while I order the other ones. If you haven't gone to getting a suppressor or silencer, the way I did it, because I kind of was actually getting asked about this somewhat here and there, but the way I did it, now some people might be like, well, you should just go through so and so or go through so and so, they'll push it through faster, and maybe that could be the case. But if you do know someone that can push it through faster or anything like that, then I recommend you go ahead and do this. I did mine through a kiosk, and the one thing that I was reading when I was doing my reviews on when you're purchasing a suppressor was that there was human error all the time from transferring paper to paper. And with the kiosk, there was no human error really, because basically they're scanning it, and then there's from the paperwork, then they're scanning it electronically, so that there was no human error. Because you don't want to be waiting into your 8 months and all of a sudden finding out, be like, oh, there's a you put the wrong date on something, and all of a sudden you got to wait another 8 months for it too. So I did mine through the kiosk. My wait was you can go on the silencer code, and then you can download the app, and then you can start filling everything out. Make sure your picture is a white background to get it. If not, when you get there to the place, I think what you'll have to do is probably Google somewhere to figure out somewhere that has a kiosk, if you still choose to do that, but let alone somewhere that will be able to purchase, somewhere where you'll be able to purchase your suppressor is something you'll have to look into too. But once I figured out the place that had the kiosk, and then I went through the process, it took me about, I think it was about 9 months, 10 months before I finally got it back to where I could pick it up. The stamp is $200 each time, $50 for the tax. So the suppressor, and you actually have to purchase your suppressor when you're getting your stamp. So make sure that you have both of the money available for your suppressor, your stamp, and your tax. So it was $12.50 altogether once it was all said and done. So a little bit of rundown, excuse me, a little bit of rundown on the suppressor when it was purchased. To go into the 338 MPR, one of the things that I really like is the buttstock, is that it's adjustable, and you might as well already have your Allen wrenches out, because you're going to be unloosening each one of it so you can adjust it for how it fits compared to you. My eye relief is probably about 3.5 inches, and you want to have probably a white paper, so when your eye relief, when you're looking through your scope, it will automatically be adjusted, so you're not trying to find where it's clear to you, and not adjusting that black bubble in there too. So I have it adjusted to about where I want, probably where I have about 3.5 inches up before my eye relief. Once I have adjusted that, the cheek pad is also the same thing. You'll have on the back side, you'll have your screws that you'll have to unloosen. But once the ADR, aim down sight, or ADS, sorry, aim down sight, once I have my cheek pad where also I want it, I'm finding that I can look down my sights right on point. The one thing too is that once you're adjusting these, sometimes, like when I have the other ones, it's my cheek pads, the screws, so when people are looking through it, they'll readjust it. This isn't going to happen on this, because they're tightened down. I like that too, because this gun is personalized just for me, just so anybody else that grabs it or will be looking through it too, probably won't be for them. So once you get those tightened down, you'll also have your QD holes for right here on the bottom. You'll have one on the top, and then you'll have one above the grip. So that's one thing right now that I'm still looking for, is a sling for it, because I'm not sure exactly how I want to use that yet. So I haven't purchased it, or else I would show that to how I have that set up. Okay, moving along. So the other thing too is that you have an adjustable stock on it. Now, I wasn't sure about this adjustable stock right off the bat, because it has a magnet right here, and I couldn't figure out what was going on when I was turning it over and I was looking at stuff, and I had my tools set out in front, and the next thing, all my tools were going up to it and getting stuck on it. So I was like, what the? I said, oh cool, it has a magnet to hold something, or when you lose something, you drop something, you can pick it up. But it wasn't for that. That wasn't the case. So actually it has I'm gonna set it down. It has a folding stock on it. So, and then that's the magnet, and it holds it down. Now, one of the other things too, at first I thought it was pretty much for I don't know, maybe peeking or something, getting around trees. Maybe it's just something like that. But actually, Just kidding all aside. Actually, when you have approximately about 10 inches more with your suppressor on, that you're going to notice that you're ducking under things normal, and then you're running into stuff a lot more. I found that bringing it into the houses, or when I'm out in the field walking around, my suppressor seems to hang up on branches a little bit more. So, and then in the truck. So when I'm packing it around in the truck, may be able to close the stock down. Maybe if you're backpacking or something like that, or maybe you're just trying to conserve space. So I thought that was really cool. One of the negative things that I've been kind of hearing about is that it's really tight at first, which it is right now, and that's why I was setting it down. That it's hard to move back and forth, but then after a while it will start loosening, and then it get wobbles. But we'll see on that. This depends on how much I'm going to be opening and closing it, which is, I don't really think I will be opening and closing it that much. But I thought that was a really cool feature right there too. So one of the things too is that it also has the air pockets underneath, or the drilled air holes. And if you're like me, I just learned that not too long ago, is that when you're shooting multiple shots, that these are under here to cool your barrel so it doesn't heat as fast. So in this one, it has approximately, well, it has 7 of them, so more air can get under there and cool your barrel off. Let's see. So now back to the gun. One thing is too, it's nice and smooth with a fluted bolt. The other thing is too, it has an A1 magazine, which is, you can see how it releases pretty easy. One of the things that I found, it might seem kind of fairly silly, was though when you're still first getting acquainted with your gun, is that it came out fairly easy. Is when I bumped it and it came out, but I like how smooth it is from when it's releasing. It also has rails on the end for your bipods, but my friend gave me a flashlight, so I just added the flashlight onto the end of it. But I have not got the rail bipods yet for it, so I was determining what ones I'd like to purchase to get with it. Overall, the weight of the gun with the suppressor, it feels a lot heavier. So moving along to the safety. The safety is pretty much it's originally your on and off. It's for your fire, and then you back to your safety. Actually, okay, so when it's on fire, it will still open and still close too. So that was kind of one of those things that it takes getting used to, because when you're walking, I find myself is that my bolt will rub on my side, and then sometimes it will open up. So then when I'm getting ready to shoot, then I have to put my bolt back down too. So that's one of those things I feel like, whether it's on safety or fire, it kind of confuses me, because I expect my bolt not to open when it's on safety. I don't know. I'm still I'm not used to that yet, so it'll take some getting used to. It'll be one of those things where I have to continuously look back down to make sure that I'm on safety, or what's going on with it, I guess. One of the things too is that the buttstock has the grips. That's a rubber grip on here too. So one of the things too, when you put it to your shoulder, that you're noticing that it's not bouncing around or sliding up and down. The other thing that I really actually like, at first I wasn't sure if I liked it, but was the AR style grip. So I feel like it gives me more stability when I'm holding it. And actually too, if you don't like the grip, it has a bolt inside where you can simply just take it out, exchange the grip to which one you will like. And Christian too, with the bolt action, I think they will excuse me, they will exchange out the bolts to more of your personal desire, I guess. Same thing with your handle. One thing too I forgot to go over was that with the muzzle brake, it will have little screws inside of it too. There's 4 of them. So when you're taking the screws out, then the muzzle brake will be on it, and I'll have to use my where'd it go? I'll have to use my tool to unloosen it. So that was one of those things that at first I wasn't sure how I was supposed to use it, so it took me a while. Also, one of the things that, moving along to my scope, was that I put the Pro Series rifle scope rings on, and that will run probably about $60 with the Vortex. With the Sport Series mount, and that was running about $160 too. So one of the things too when you're putting your scope on is make sure that you get the right torque put on it, because especially when you're spending this amount of money on your rifle, you don't want to be torquing it and then all of a sudden you're bending the tubes inside, because they have 2 layers of tubes inside. So if you start torquing it down because you don't want to move it, or it to move or bounce around, just make sure that you get it to the right torque, and then you're not bending your scopes, because you don't want to save up for that amount of a scope and then all of a sudden bend it up. But overall, I think my next review of this, I'm really happy. I don't have any buyer's remorse right now. I'm pretty excited with this to go sight it in, and I haven't got to sight it in. I haven't even got to shoot it because this is my box opening. But overall, I really like this gun. I like the features of it. My other gun, it weighs probably like 40 pounds realistically. It's a really heavy gun, and so I'm not sure. This gun's a lot lighter, so I'm not sure if I'm used to packing something lighter around yet. Maybe it will be easier, but I like the stability and it being heavy. So this one feels a little top heavy with the suppressor at the end. So last but not least is that the bullets for the 338 are 250 grain. Right now with the epidemic, price is, I think they're like $200 but it'll give you an idea too of how big of a bullet they are at 250 grain. So I'm excited. I don't know, maybe I'll go out and do a little video too of me shooting it, getting some shots in. But this will be my setup for this year. This is my MPR 338 Lapua Christensen. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Anything you want to ask me about it. I'm thoroughly excited to go be able to start hunting with this gun.